Welcome to episode 13 of the WireTap podcast. First of all, I want to apologize for missing out last week. It was just a hectic week for me, and couldn't make the show happen. And Carlos was busy, but you already know
Wait,
who we are. I'm Alex, and this is Carlos.
you just told me 5 minutes ago that it was my fault we missed the
Well, it was both of ours.
shady on you, man. That's shady, but that's
Hey
all
man,
right.
I
Yeah,
take
yeah.
responsibility. I take
Good. No,
responsibility.
that's
I
good.
had a
That's
lot of
good.
going on. We're busy, so it'll happen from time to time if you want to stay up current, just follow our social media.
Yeah, that's really the way it is. I mean, honestly, man, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you made it. I don't think you really went too far out, did you? You didn't go too far out. I'm
No, but
still a
it was just
little.
spending time with
Yeah.
the family, and we just planned some days with the kiddo, and you know how that goes, family time. And but we're here, we're back, we're on week 13, and let's make it happen.
Man, I gotta. While you were gone, bro, there was a viewer who wrote us a question that did not write it on our channel. This was a question that was funneled down through another viewer that was direct to me. And before we get started, let's talk about this. Is a little dramatic, Alex. I don't know if you've been keeping up with. What it seems like they come up every single episode with us is these Kardashians, man. It seems like you always have some kind of something to say about the Kardashians because I'm somehow involved in the family. But yeah, this viewer is really talking about what recently happened with Chloe. Did you catch that in the news, Alex, where Chloe had a picture leaked?
I did see a little bit after you kind of you mentioned it, and I went back and I did a little bit of research because I'm not in tune with the fam as much as you are, but
Listen,
you,
why you got to do that? But that's okay.
it's okay, man. It's just I know you. I mean, I know that's. But anyways,
What does
man, I
that
did
mean?
see,
What does
man.
that even mean, bro? What does that even
I
mean?
know that I know that you keep up with the Kardashians. I mean, I know that you like them, and you keep up a
Allah.
little bit. But
Yeah,
here we are. We're talking about Khloe Kardashian again. Just because, look, we all got pictures out there that are not flattering, right? We
yeah,
all do. But
yeah.
when we try to portray pictures of ourselves in a hold this image that we're not, then I mean, what do? You gotta either die by the sword faking it, or you admit it and be like, yeah, I don't look my best. I mean, that is what it is. What do you
I mean,
think, Carlos?
I'm. Give me a minute. You can cut this out. What I'm thinking is just look, man. The rumor is, and this is what you know how these tabloids are. You know how these
Mhm.
people, what they say in social media. Sometimes you wonder if this was all created intentionally, if there was, if this was all just an opportunity for them to just divert attention from something else. But here's where I'm at on this, man. Is the fact that she's so concerned about image, right? Uh, Anytime you talk about the Kardashians, you think of image, right?
Mhm.
The concern over image, the ability to have an image, and what does that look like with this specific product that they own, or as a whole. Listen, those individuals, those women, and I don't know about you, Alex, ladies, and those of you that are listening, man, their influence is very evident in the social media world. There are
They're
people.
marketing machines, man.
They are marketing machines, but Alex, you can just listen, get on Instagram and just flip on things. Just randomly get on things. Let's say I'm following a page. Let's say I'm following a car page. Whatever the case may be, you see these ladies that come on, your feed, and some of them look just like the Kardashians, right? It almost seems that there is this pressure, right? There is this pressure that somehow has been influential over these individuals. And it's not, again, it's not all
Like a
cultures,
thin
right?
waist, big booty.
Yeah, yeah. And listen, I'm not saying this goes for every culture. This is not a blanket remark. This is just an observation that in a certain culture, in a certain way of being and wanting to be, and so focused on your image, bro, this is who they are, and this is what people want, right? They want the same attributes, they want the same characteristics of these ladies. But ultimately, what I will say about this is Chloe and the rest of them, but specifically Chloe, is so concerned about this picture that they said that the mama, Chris, that she's out trying to figure out, how to get it down and trying to sue people to take it down because what it portrays. Listen, all it portrays is who you are. If you're so concerned about who you are and it's not you, then maybe you don't need to be in this world, right? Maybe this isn't the space that you thought it was, right? So, if anything, the way I see this, man,
I
is
think I think once it's leaked, I mean, it's pretty hard to
it's
get it
pretty
off the
hard.
internet.
Of
It's
course,
it's
of
in there.
course.
It's hard to get it removed. But I think that she should focus more on her personal life than trying to just a concern about a picture. She's got other issues that like just like we all do, but that she's working with her, I don't know, fiance now
Baby
or
daddy, I don't
baby
know.
daddy, all that issues. She's got way more to worry about than just a leaked picture of her.
Than
Like,
just a
I mean,
leak picture. You're absolutely right.
yeah, and I don't know. I don't think too much about it. It doesn't look like her other pictures, that's for sure.
No, 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 not
Eh,
at all, man.
But I mean, she just gotta accept who she is.
Listen, man, if there's anything else I could say about this, and I'll make my last comment. What I will say about this, man, is I think she is struggling with something so much deeper.
Hmm.
Honestly, I think there is a heavy baggage that nobody sees that this specific young lady, this woman, this grown woman is going through because she's trying to keep her stuff together, right? We all go through things. Let's be honest, Alex. We've all got our own baggage.
Hmm.
We all have our own skeletons in our closet. That begins with me out to the rest of the world, right? We all struggle with the things that we struggle with. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what I will say is I think she's trying to keep all these, she's trying to. I think about her as, you ever seen those guys that try to spin plates, right? And they got them
Yes.
all at different heights and they're trying to spin them and keep them all moving. And once you got them all moving, oh, you got to come over here because you got to keep this one spinning. I think this specific young lady is honestly trying to balance everything. And what she wants to portray the world is that I've got it all together. And because I'm in this situation, I can get it together and I'm getting it together. And I want you to see me for who I am, but I also don't want you to see the 100% of me, right? Because if you see the
Well,
100% of me, you're going to notice and see that I don't have it all together and I'm not who I portray I was. But listen, it's too late because you look at those social media posts, bro, you see a different face on her every other week.
yeah, I don't look that. I don't. Out of all the sisters, that's not the one I follow the most. I pretty much follow like Kylie, right, and Kendall. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, no, you're for sure that she's probably dealing with some other mental issues and health issues or whatever she's bottling down is holding down. And before we jump off entertainment, I wanna just say really quick, rest in peace to DMX. I
Yeah,
listened to
man, that was your
him.
guy back in the day, man.
Yeah, that was my guy. I
X
have
gonna
all
give it to you. Yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
got a bunch of his albums. I rocked it. I got my brother into DMX. I mean, DMX to me, he was he
Right.
was he was a goat, man. He was pretty good. He was up there as a very good rap artist, and he battled a lot of mental issues, a lot of drug addictions, and sadly, due to those issues, he ended up having a heart attack and passing away, which is really sad because his career just just plummeted right after he just went out and had some other winning out of jail and tax evasions and everything else that's going on. And it was pretty sad to see, right, that this man had went before his time. And another thing I want to say is like, dude, is like I was a big fan of DMX.
Yeah, man, I
I
know. I
don't,
remember. I
but
remember.
dude, I
I
don't go out
wasn't
there
that
and
big, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I don't go out there and just start bumping his music to work out and what all these other people are doing is like, if you want to buy his music, why are you trying to do it now? I mean,
Why are you
I
doing it now? Yeah,
instead of
yeah.
trying to show respect, I think you're showing a little disrespect because you didn't appreciate him when when he was around.
When his art was really making it happen. Yeah, man. No, I as soon as I was gonna text you as soon as it came out, but there was some back and forth on social media. I don't know if you noticed that some people were reporting
Yes.
that he was dead, and then some people were reporting that he wasn't really dead, that he was just still in the
Well,
hospital.
I
Yeah,
was
go
gonna say I posted. I think my brother shot me. I was like, dude, did you hear? And I was like, what? No, I looked, and then I posted a picture and I said, oh, yeah, I did a little thing like rest in peace, DMX, and a picture of him, and then I heard his like another thing where his manager says like, no, he's still on life support, but
I
technically it's
mean,
like he
yeah,
was he was clinically brain dead at that
right,
moment.
right.
It was like, but he wasn't officially declared dead. So I took the post down, and then the next morning, of course, they made it official and everything. Then I reposted it. But yeah, it was a lot of back and forth, uncertainty, like
Yeah,
hoping he could
yeah.
pull through. But I mean, I think it was just too late.
Yeah, man. No, no, no. Either way, our condolences to the family. I'm going to say
Yeah,
this, and I'm
prayers
only
with
going to
him.
say that. Honestly, I'm going to say this once, and I'm not going to elaborate on this. So don't push it, Alex. I'm just going to say this one time, and those of you that are listening, you might think I'm crazy, and that's okay. I have my own thoughts on the music industry, um, uh, for a variety of reasons. But I believe that um, this could be another plug that the Illuminati pulled. Um, I know this sounds crazy, Alex. You're looking at me right now, like, what are you saying? I know,
Nah,
believe me, I know.
because once you go
I
down the rabbit hole,
Once you
it's
go
really
down that
hard.
hole, it's hard. I know.
It,
That's why I'm not going to
it's
go
it's
down it.
hard.
I'm not.
Uh,
But I think
nah,
this was one of those
we could have some.
sacrifices because this is a artist that left a major impact during the time that he was really, you were out bumping it. He left an impact. He made an impact, and this is one of those goats that I believe
He included
it's
he
his
included
turn.
prayer. Yeah, he included prayer in some of his songs, and he grew up in a Christian home. Even though, I think that when he was saying in an interview that when he was growing up and he was looking towards the manager, they gave him a cigarette with weed in it, but it also was lace, which had like cocaine or meth in it, and that really messed him up. And after that, it was just never the same. But he always kind of, we can agree the way he took his path or not, but he tried to include God there in there, and sometimes if you believe on all the other stuff, Illuminati, they try to suppress that, right? And he was
Of
out there
course,
like, just I
of
don't
course.
care, and this is what I am, and maybe they didn't like that. I don't know, but it's
Look, all I'm going to say is I believe that these things. Look. I don't know. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm going to say it again. I am not a conspiracy theorist at all. But I do believe in the music industry, and the music industry is a very tight industry. And I think he was just next on the chopping block. And I don't know, man. I hope not. But again, at the end of the day, whether it was that or whether it's this and that, look, I'm not going to talk about it that way. At the end of the day, someone's life is no longer on earth. And what you do is you send your deepest condolences to the family, and you hope
hmm
that he rests in peace. And that's the way it
yeah.
is. But yeah, man,
But yeah, man,
I hear you.
let's
I hear
yeah,
you. I
rest in
hear you.
peace. Yeah, rest in peace, DMX. And then switching to a different topic, I know that we always talk about
Switching
financing.
gears.
Yeah, switching gears here is, man, we've been doing a lot of research because I don't know if you've seen the market. It's just up and down. It's hard to predict, but
It's the
what you
market.
can yep, exactly right. But what you can predict is what stocks you should be buying, or what
Yep.
is the top 5 stocks that you should probably be owning, right?
Motley Fool. I don't know if anybody subscribes to the Motley Fool, but the Motley Fool is a publication that is basically online. And what it does, and it has some premium services that you can sign up for. It's basically a finance platform. So you go to this page, you can read about stocks, you can read about investing. When you talk about investing basics, how to invest money, where to invest, what that looks like. This might be helpful to those of you that are wanting to get into the stock game or wanting to invest and you've never done it. Look, the way I see it is once you get in there, that's the best way to learn. That's how I learned. Once you do it in real time, it's different than reading it on paper. But
You got more in stake.
Oh, absolutely.
Got a
There's a
little.
whole lot more at stake. But the Motley Fool recently put out a publication, and we won't spend too much time on this. But this recent publication talks about the 5 stocks you want to own in 2021. So this goes out to all the gentlemen out there, to all the ladies. Yeah, everybody's got their future in mind. Everybody's focusing on wealth. Everyone wants to talk about
Well,
generational wealth.
you can't leave it up to the government, right? You got to
No,
take your
no, no,
matters
no,
into
no.
your hands. So going up to number
You
one,
can't even
Carlos
leave it to
here.
your 401k
No, because but
because that's a
we
joke.
got our number one. I mean, you really can't. You got to do
No,
more. I think if you
absolutely,
want to be more
absolutely.
comfortable and project your future where you're can do whatever you want, inflation and everything, you got to definitely think outside the box a little bit more. But number one is Walt Disney, which is ticker symbol DIS.
Hmm.
And I don't know what your thoughts on it. I mean, obviously we can say a little bit of the facts here, is 67%, gains and everything, but everybody knows Walt Disney, right? And I think Walt Disney is one of the companies that it's not going anywhere. I think that company is only going to get bigger. It's only going to push out more stuff. And I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the Walt Disney streaming service, they got all
Disney
these
Plus.
they got all these
That's
shows lined
that's
up.
the gain. That's the only reason they closed in a positive position in the
Yeah,
pandemic. Remember, the attractions closed down, the parks closed down, the experiences closed down. It's open now with a limited capacity, as we have learned and what we see. But the performance when it comes to sales, Alex, it's all decline. It's a massive decline. You can go back to the first quarter that ended back in January the 2nd. It brought the whole company sales to 22%. However, how did in the world did they just gain 67%? It's like you just said,
because
Disney
it's
Plus.
direct to consumer increase 73% in the first quarter, 250 year over year increase in Disney Plus subscriptions, 80% increase on Disney Plus subscriptions, 30% increase in Hulu subscriptions. So I mean,
Ooh,
you know, they're sitting
because
in a
everybody
good
was home.
spot.
Everybody was home, bro.
That's what I'm saying. They're sitting in a good spot. So it's a perfect time if
No
you
pun
wanted to
intended.
invest. Yeah, you have to if you want to invest, Disney is and I don't own any Disney, but I'm thinking to myself is like why not? Right? It's a good stock. It's one that you want to hold in your portfolio 100%.
No, I am all for Disney. Again, I think Alex hit the nail on the head when he talks about it's a company that's not going anywhere as long as they stick to their mission and they focus on their priorities. You're going to continue to see Walt Disney grow. I mean, that's evident. We saw it today. I believe today was their parks fully opened in California. From what I just saw today on CNBC. So first one right off the bat is Walt Disney. Number two. What's this? What's number two, Alex?
It's what is it? Zoom video
Fiverr
intercommunications is with
International. Yep.
Fiber International with the it's FBRR. And what are we doing now? We're doing a video conference. We're recording. We're doing this podcast through that. Um, you- if it's not Zoom, in our company we use Microsoft Teams, but some people are using Cisco. Some people, But what I'm trying to say is everybody's doing webinars. Everybody is doing Zoom meetings. So it's the digital world. I think a lot of companies learn that you can have a team and maybe decrease your office space by just having just like little off meetings. And if that
That's
don't
right.
even have a building, you can go to a coffee shop, hold a meeting, or
That's right.
you
That's
can
right.
rent out a space if you got
That's right.
important clients that you want a conference room. There's these like
We
areas that you
work.
can rent
You
them
got
out.
we
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
and you can
Yep.
just rent out, have your conference.
Well, I
So
love we work.
so a lot of people right now are dude, they're taking advantage of this, and this is why we're seeing a lot of growth in some of these companies.
And it's
I, Go ahead.
and it's not just Zoom, Alex. I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's not just Zoom. It's also Fiverr. So
Yeah.
so Fire is a platform where if you have a specific skill and you want to freelance, people go to this platform and they can hire you. If you're looking for a writer, they'll be more than happy to write for you, right? If you're looking for a specific individual when it comes to photography or digital graphic design, you sign up as, that individual who wants to be contracted. You get on here, and before you know it, not only has your network grown, but you also are closing deals all online. So the reason we talk about this being number two is, what are the numbers you threw out? I think sales grew, what, 89% in the fourth
Yeah,
quarter at the
80.
end of
Yep.
2020,
Yep,
right?
89%. The
89% at the end of 2020, guys, right? We're
it sees
talking,
115 billion total addressable markets. I mean, it's fiber stock gained 581% over the past year. It is 11% up so far in 2021. So, I mean, it's a stock that maybe it hit its peak, maybe it hasn't, but I don't think it's going anywhere.
yeah, I don't
So,
think it's hitting its lid yet.
it
Yeah,
n-
you're right.
I mean, it could potentially not, because people are starting to jump on it more and more and more. So it could still see potential more growth. And Carlos, number three, we got Roku, right?
Man, yeah, man, Roku. You see it
Roku.
now. You go to Walmart, right? Let's just take examples. When was the last time you've been to Walmart, Alex?
Dude, it's a long time.
I haven't been to Walmart in a while. I'm sorry. No, no, no.
Yeah, me too. I
But
like I'm
prior
I
to,
don't go to
listen,
Walmart.
listen, listen. Prior to the pandemic, look, you could even get online and see these deals. Just example, Walmart, Target. Let's go Target. Any television just that you buy today has automatic Roku built in, right? That licensing piece has taken place just by getting that specific product to stream their service, and they make it available on both sides. So not only is this a great stock to invest in, but you see these guys driving sales, what, 38% at the end of 2020, and they're competing alongside companies like Amazon, right? Because Amazon's got their streaming services, but these guys are fully immersed into these, whether it's a Element, right, the lower end TVs. You've got the Roku TVs, right? All of their, at the end of the day, what's making them money is the streaming service, and that's one of the biggest things that we're noticing, that they've increased 81%, right, for a 58% increase in company sales. Look, these guys, when it comes to streaming services, when it comes to reoccurring revenue, at the end of the day, Roku right now is leading the way. So I think if you're looking to
It
add something to your
it
portfolio, it's definitely got to be Roku. Letters ROKU.
it gained 358% over the last 12 months, and it's up 13%,
So far.
this year so far.
Whew.
And I don't know too much about Roku. It's not one that I follow. I mean, I got enough serving, streaming services platforms as it is. Um, but even though you're not invested in, or you're not actually physically using it, there's a lot of people that are using it, and that's why it becomes, an attractive stock to follow. Number four is Target.
Oh
And
man, gotta love Target.
T
TGT.
TGT, right?
Yeah,
We
man.
all love Target. Everybody knows that. And one of the things that I think helped them is just their ability for them to adapt to the circumstances.
Well, they got a new CEO
Mhm.
after that mess in 2016.
No, but yes, yes. So the CEO, right? He came in and basically did a new direction, huge turnaround story. You can go back and follow. But basically, they did a lot of e-commerce, and they really started doing online shopping, and they were a little bit ahead of the game before the pandemic. So it put them in a good
Absolutely.
spot, and this is why you saw their stock and everything increase percentage wise. They increased like 212 in the fourth quarter, ending in January 30, 2020, and it's just been growing. The drive through grew more than 500%, and the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
digitals
yeah.
I
The
think is
drive up. Yeah,
95%. What I'm reading here.
yeah.
So overall, the Target stock gained about 24% over the past year. So it's not bad. Target is looking good.
94%. 94%. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
94%.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. Yeah, yeah. And here's the other part. I think we forget, and I'm always reminding myself every time I go to Target, I always think about the company called Shipped. They own that, and I don't think they have pushed it the way Target has the ability to push it with that same day service. I think before you know it, and again, I think Motley Fool is up to something, and I think they're slowly discovering that perhaps Shipped could either be bought by, acquired by another e-commerce site, or Target is really going to unload some cash here, honestly, and it will be the competitor to a FedEx,
To Amazon,
to a
to an
UPS,
Amazon.
to an Amazon. I'm telling you, I don't know where their e-commerce plans are. I don't know what their strategy is. But for Motley to be speaking into this, I mean, because Target is a no-brainer, right? But for them to actually rank it in a top four and bring the e-commerce piece, look, that's the only reason why Amazon flourished. We talked about this a couple of episodes ago, right? It was that specific, this upcoming CEO that really brought them into the e-commerce world versus being just a bookstore, right?
Yeah.
So again, definitely number four. Now the last one is what, Alex?
Is Peloton. It's
Yeah, man.
PTON.
I
And you
don't
know
have one.
what? I thought about buying me one.
Nah, I'm
I
good.
think it. I mean, it's having a bike exercise. I gotta puff it down on my cheeks here, so get them
Um,
slimmed down.
okay. I'm gonna leave that
But
alone. Uh
but you know what?
huh.
It's as a stock, man. I've been watching, but I have been watching it way more than me trying to buy the bike, right? But
Right.
I've been keeping an eye on it, and it's increased what 128 in revenue increase, 138 in connected fitness subscriptions.
Uh huh.
It's
Yep.
472% increase in paid digital subscriptions.
Yep.
And
Yep.
what they're doing is you got the bike, and then they're doing the subscription service for your
Uh
family or
huh. Uh
whatever, and
huh.
they
Uh
got
huh.
programs, so it gets you more motivated to
And you
do
don't
it.
even have to have the bike, right? This is the genius piece. You don't have to own the product to own the reoccurring revenue model. Did you catch that?
No, not that part. So
So
I'm guessing they're still offering like other weight services and fitness. It's more of a fitness subscription more than just their
bam,
product, but it's
bam.
their product that they're using when it comes to those type of fitness. So I mean, it makes sense, dude. It's brilliant.
I mean, when you have a 472% increase in digital subscriptions, look, not only can you monetize owning those emails and owning that personal data to be able to sell it to other companies, not only do you have money and a reoccurring revenue model in that specific piece, but now you've added on from the equipment. Listen, that equipment, their margins, that's not where their money is. That's not where their bread and butter is on the equipment. That equipment to me, if you
No,
ask
no,
me,
no.
it's overpriced. It's overpriced equipment. It's like the Bowflex, right? Back in the day, Bowflex.
No, but you know what? Any quality bikes or whatever that's around the same realm, they cost the same. They're not cheaply made, and they're made to last for a long time. But like you said, that's not where they're probably not making a lot of margins on it. Yes, the bikes are expensive, but I think they're making their money off the subscriptions. That's why they're advertising, their subscription model. The fitness is for your whole family. If you ever go to the website, it's more like how many people go to the gym, how many times, and they're just trying to show you
Yeah,
how you can save money and get the better workout using their line. But
yeah. I've
I
heard
mean,
the
anyways, that
Echelon. I've heard the Echelon is better than the Peloton. Have you heard about the Echelon?
no, but I haven't looked into it because I think I'm gonna buy a rower. But anyways, that's a different story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, anyways, guys, that was the top five picks of the stocks we think you guys should be. I mean, that Motley thinks
At
you should
least take a
own,
look
and
at it,
we
right? At
and
least
we
take a look
agree.
at it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I agree. I agree. Those are good stocks.
And when you talk about stocks, one of the things that, and we were just talking about this, some of you, those of you that of course weren't listening because we hadn't hit record yet. Me and Alex were, before we started hitting record on the show, we were talking about cryptocurrency and the current effects that it's going through. And one of the biggest things that me and Alex were talking about was, it's a gamble either way, but what these gambles do is the uncertainty of a gamble. It increases your anxiety. Alex, would you agree on that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, the anxiety here that if you're not gonna make it, or you're losing out to potentially becoming a million,
Thousands.
or yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
thousands becoming a millionaire.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things is, recently, Alex, I don't know if you've been,
or
uh,
losing it all.
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I was recently reading um, it was a story about an individual who had invested, of course, thousands of dollars. I believe it was what he called, or what the article called, it was his life savings, and he invested, and his stock, whatever it was that he chose, tanked. And he lost all his
Hmm.
money. It created this level of anxiety that it brought him into depression. Not only did it bring him into depression, but he killed himself because he
Yeah.
has lost everything. And I think that's not just when it comes to stocks and finance, but honestly, guys, let's be honest. When it comes to money, Alex, we are controlled by the mighty dollar. And anytime we feel like we don't have enough, it creates anxiety. But anytime where you do have enough, and we feel that the health of your wealth is diminishing in a way, whether it's by the day or by the hour, it creates anxiety as well. I don't know how our listeners are taking this on, but what I wanted to say and bring this up is, I am not a therapist. I am not an expert. I took psychology in college, but it was a few classes just to get me through, right? Just to get to the next aspect of where I was heading. But one of the things that, I have found myself after reading that story is, I wonder, man, what could he have done to really cope with his anxiety? Because ultimately we see the impact that money makes on individuals. Alex, you ever been in those positions? Listen, I'll tell you right now, growing up, we didn't have much, man. You know my story. We didn't have much, and what we did have, we my family learned to stretch it out, and I don't want to go down that route, right? I want to be able to create wealth and generational wealth, and when I look at my wealth health, right, if I could use it that way again, I want it to be in a positive position. I want to be able to have enough, but my parents did the best that they could to provide while I was growing up as a kid, and I want to make sure that I am able to leave something behind, but I don't want to fall into this state of depression, of anxiety, kind of like this individual who jumped into the stock market and had no idea what he was doing. That's why when people say to me, "Hey, I want to invest, can you tell me how, or teach me how?" First, I say, first of all, before we get into any of this, do you understand that you are not always going to win and make money when you get into the stock market? That is
Yeah,
that
no,
is one of the
it's
first questions right off the bat. Yeah, man.
yeah, it's a very important question because you know what happens though? You got to have the stomach for it because I don't know if you see, your stock market if once you get to a certain level in your portfolio, you start noticing a little bit more. But let's just go with this round. Let's just say you have $30,000 on there, and then some news comes out in the because of this or whatever,
Or the
and or the
CEO says
stock
something he
market
isn't
or
supposed to.
says something, your portfolio instantly goes like it can drop,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It can drop 5, 6, 7,000, 8,000, and you're looking at it, it'll be like, whoa, I was at 30,000. What's going on? And you may be inclined to tell like, and get out of there and lose all that money.
that's
But
right.
if you stomach through those scenarios, and this is what you're talking about, coping with anxiety and knowing having mentors. I think the best thing is to reach out to people that are in the same situation, the same
Right,
mindset.
right,
That is
right.
like, hey, what? How do you do it? Or hey, I'm having this thoughts. What's going on? Can you and have other people that are more experienced that already went through it try to guide you? Because what happens is you stomach those scenarios and then you'll see that account go back from 21 to 23 to 24, 25, 26 to 30 to 32 to 35 to 36. And you're like, oh, if you would have sold, then you would have never recuperate your money and made more money.
Yeah.
So
No, no, no. Of course.
it's not for everyone. But if you're trying to make money, just know that in the long run, you're gonna win.
Yeah.
If you stick to a strategy
Yeah. That's right.
and
That's
invest
right.
in the right stocks, do your homework, you're gonna win at the end.
Yeah, it's definitely a long-term hold. And that's I recently had a question. Someone hit me up about the stock market, what platform to use. Do I recommend this specific stock that this individual had? And before anything, and again, I wanted to meet. I'm going to meet with this individual in person because I know there's potential there, and I know they have the ability to invest. But at the end of the day, you got to get educated, and it's not just the education as to how, right? It's not just the education as to how to do something. It's the education as to how to handle it, right? How to cope with it, how to manage it. Look, this is specifically, we're tailoring this conversation around finance, around investing. But anytime you do anything that creates anxiety, you need to understand your thought process. You need to understand before you jump into that relationship, right? Before you jump in this decision, before you do something that's going to perhaps have the potential of creating this negative thought, or this a specific influence over you that is not necessarily positive, you need to know the effects. You need to understand those parameters. So I wanted to bring that up, Alex, because
And you know what, Carlos, before
yeah, man.
you it's and look, I'm sure you don't, you're not prone to this, or you don't, we all have anxiety. I see my portfolios behave that way, but I've done enough research, or I have enough mentors, and not personally, I don't even know them, right? Just a lot of people that I follow and
Of
everything,
course, of course.
that you can see those and not affect you. But do I still get anxiety over some of the stuff? Yeah, because when your portfolio is going up and you're performing really well, and you start seeing it go down,
Yeah.
obviously it causes a little bit of anxiety. But you know what,
Mhm,
it
mhm.
goes back. You got to understand the market. And look, guys, if I could say it to that individual, or to everybody that's listening, go back and listen to one of our previous shows. We said it before, and I'll say it again. You got to have a certain quantity of money saved up for your rainy days. Once you kind of saved
Always.
up enough money, then you can start going into investments, and know that you don't want to lose that money. You're gonna go and invest like in Disney and Roku and some of these other ones, right? That have good potential for you to make money. There's a companies, there's plenty of other examples like Adobe and Salesforce. There's been a lot of companies out there that are actually performing very well. So what I would say is make sure you got money saved up, at least minimum 6 months, three
Gotta have it.
months
Yep.
at a
Yep.
minimum, 6 months to 12. What was it last time you said, Carlos? I think 12 months.
Yeah,
That
man.
would be great,
I've
right?
always
But
I've always said 12 months. Always. I know you could
but
get away,
at a minimum,
but you got to do at least 12. That way you're comfortable.
yeah, but at minimum, you should at least save like 4 months. Have 4 months saved up, and then you can start investment and keep building on that savings until you have that, and then go deep, go heavy, invest.
Yeah, no, no, no. I listen. I will. And again, look, and I'm speaking from my own life, my own experience. I didn't have parents that taught me how to invest. I don't know about you, Alex, but my parents are very
No,
old school. Our culture is very old school, where hey, you work, you make money, you save it. None of
yeah,
this
my
interest
family son
bearing.
rancheros and hardworking individuals from one side, and then the other side was same thing. Work hard, be honest, and
That's right.
not a
That's right.
lot of money. Didn't offer a lot of opportunities, but what they did offer was making sure that I was someone that can work with my mom and stuff, making sure that I work hard, that ain't nobody's gonna give me nothing, that I need to provide for myself. So she gave me a lot of life lessons that I hold dearly. But no, dude, we didn't get the opportunities that our kids are having, right? Because we have different mindsets, that we're actually providing different opportunities for them.
So definitely a different world, man. Definitely a different world, and that's what Again, this is why, whether you're Hispanic or not, at the end of the day, you're a listener, and you have the same opportunities we have, right? You have the same opportunities at your fingertips, literally on your phone. That computer that you have in your pocket all day, every day, gives you access, right? Gives you access to a world that perhaps could be exactly for you. But again, I go back to, there are some negative pieces to investing, and you have to understand that there are consequences. And I just wanted to speak into that, Alex, because it's not as glitzy and glam as some people may think. It's not as glitzy and glam as you see on Instagram, which I've talked about my
Hmm.
frustration with seeing some of those videos. Look, there are horrible days, right? There are days where you just want to just sell, forget diversification, just sell it, get me out, because I need to hold on to some cash, because this could get bad, right? all because this CEO just decided he wanted to dump this specific stock, and now his portfolio is hit, which means my portfolio is hit. Or you've got a hedge fund manager who is wanting to destroy a stock because he's betting on it to fail, right? So all of
Yeah,
these
that
things.
goes back to GameStop, right? You can
Oh
see
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
effects. Somebody was betting for it to fail, and then the market took, and look what happened. But Carlos, let's go a little bit off of stocks here, and I wanted to ask you this question
I don't know where
because
you came up with this, man.
because no because
I've never
you
done
know
this, but I'm gonna let you go ahead. Go ahead and paint this picture.
okay, no, so someone brought it up to my attention and they were asking. And I was like, you know what, that's a good topic. Let me bring it up and just discuss it here amongst ourselves. But the question was, have you ever faked not speaking English? And what that means, and I'll go through the story, but I want to ask you, have you ever done that, Carlos? Like,
Have
so basically you're at a store or you're at a whatever, an event, or you're doing something, and you're obviously you have a Hispanic complexion or whatever. They and I was like, oh, maybe that.
they see the
But anyways, they're
cactus in your face, in your
or
forehead?
or you about to do no, forget about that, or you're about to do something that you're not supposed to do, maybe
Yeah.
cut in line, maybe get in that seat, or
Uh-huh.
maybe do something. So you get in there and it sounds like, hey, no, sir, the line's over there. Oh, no sec. You start talking Spanish, like, oh, I don't know what you're saying, like. And then they'll be like, hey, no sir, I need you to go over there, and you're basically like, oh, I don't understand, and you can, but you're saying it in Spanish, like, oh, no entiendo, no entiendo, or something, right?
I don't
Have you
speak
ever done
English.
that?
Listen, I just said, and I'll say it again, Alex. I have never done that. Have you done that, bro?
No, no, but listen, the story goes like this. So this guy was at he was at, what was it? I think he was at a game
Uh-huh.
before COVID. So he
Uh-huh.
was at a game or something, and obviously he was gonna miss the game. So he starts cutting in line, and they keep telling him is like like this lady is telling him like, no, the line's back there, the line's back there. And he's like, no, I don't understand in Spanish, like, making hand motions like, oh, no.
Spanish or
So
English?
no, he's saying it in Spanish, but
Oh,
the
no
lady's
entiendo,
talking
no
in
entiendo.
English.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, like, yeah, and I don't understand what you're saying, blah blah blah. And he's still doing the kind of like staying in line. I think he's gonna buy some food or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
or a beer. And the lady's like, no, you got, and so he basically fakes it, and then he's like, oh no. At the third time, the lady, she was American, but she know how to speak Spanish. so
Oh
so
no.
so he's like, "Oh yeah, you don't." So she starts telling him in Spanish, her broken Spanish, right?
Yeah.
But she starts telling him like,
Oh, that's
"No,
hilarious.
la línea está atrás, la línea está atrás, tienes que ir para atrás." And he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah."
Okay.
And he had to go to the back of the line, but he
Oh
tried to
man.
fake his way and stay in the line by pretending he didn't speak Spanish.
Do
So
I know
I
this
thought it was
individual,
kind of
Alex?
funny.
Do I know this individual?
No, I don't think you
Oh, okay.
know him. It's out of other realm,
That
but.
reminds me of that joke with Fluffy. You remember that Fluffy joke where he's at the school, and the teacher tries to say something to him, and she's like, "No, senor, you have to go that way." And he's like, "I'm sorry, I no understand, no speak English." And she's like, "Oh no, la línea está allá atrás. Aquí no, allá sí
Oh
sí.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yo no soy
Say,
pen."
yeah. The same scenario, but I was like, nah,
Same
dude, I don't think
situation.
I'm. You know what? I'm kind of curious because I don't want somebody breaking the line
Yeah, man.
in front of me, so I don't try to do that stuff. But man, that was pretty funny. I was like, you know what? Let me bring it up.
I don't think, no, I honestly, I don't think I've ever played that game. But you know what does get under my skin about these kind of situations, Alex, is when you meet somebody, and this always, and I'm going to apologize. Let me say that if you are from Texas and you are listening, I do not mean this about all Texans, what I'm about to say. Okay. If you are a Texan,
Hmm.
this does not mean this is about you. Okay. But there have been times where I have met Texans. Okay. I have met Texans, or let's quote unquote Chicanos, right? That will say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you got a last name like Sanchez, but you don't speak a lick of Spanish, right? But you do speak Spanish. You just choose not to speak Spanish. Now, listen, there are some who were, they're fourth generation Americans. They were raised here. They got last name, like Sanchez, but they don't speak, any kind of Spanish. But what frustrates me are those individuals who know good and well they could speak Spanish, but choose not to. And it always happens. Here's the frustrating part. It always happens every time I go to Texas. Have you ever encountered that? In
You know,
Cali, it's different.
yes,
It's different in
no,
Cali, I think, than it is in Texas.
no, yeah, you encounter it all the time, but you also, because I've done it too, where someone is speaking English and I don't want to be rude and start speaking Spanish to them, where I think I assume that they know how to speak Spanish,
They're like, no
and they're
Nintendo.
having a little, yeah, they're having a little hard time. I don't immediately go to Spanish. I do ask them, was like, hey, do you speak Spanish? I can speak Spanish. We can, if you want, we can switch or whatever. But if they start talking in English, I talk back in English. If they talk to me in Spanish, I'll talk to them in Spanish. But other than that, nah. But I have seen it because I've been to Texas too for work and business stuff. Um, and sometimes you do have them. You start talking in Spanish. It's like, oh, okay, you one of those folks. And then you just
Oh,
start.
you're one of those.
So then you just start talking
Does
in
that
English,
not
and then they're just
frustrate you, bro? Is that not frustrating?
no, but it is kind of like, that's kind of whacked.
It is whack. It is whack.
Yeah,
It is absolutely whack, man. And for
yeah.
me, it frustrates me because all you want to say is, man, you know you speak Spanish. Like don't even try that mess. Don't even pull that card on me because you know good and well that you do. Now, again, I go back to saying this. I understand that there are some in our culture that have been raised in the States, have no idea. They may have, a great, great, great grandpa and grandma that were from Zacatecas, and that's how they say Zacatecas because that's how they know. I get it. Listen, I get it. But there are some that you're just like, really? Did you just really say?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I get that story, Alex, but I also get the other flip side of those who fake that they don't speak Spanish. Man, that those get under my skin more than the ones who fake that they can't
Talking
speak
to
English.
Carlos, talking about skin here. I don't know. Did you already sign up for the vaccine?
That was an interesting transition. That you took the gold on that one. That was good, Alex. That was good. Have I
No,
taken the
but
vaccine? Nah, man. I don't want a third eye.
why not, man?
I don't want the Johnson and Johnson at this point. I'm
No,
just
but not
kidding.
the
I'm
Johnson
just
and
kidding.
Johnson, but
Even though it was
Pfizer or
only
something.
six ladies out of 6 million. Come on now.
Nah,
I
but I
think this
think
might be
Pfizer.
political.
But you know what, dude? I think it's a matter of time. I have many people in my realm that already got it. I know people, a lot of coworkers.
Yeah.
So my wife already signed me up
Oh,
for the vaccine.
you
I'm
ready for
gonna
that
go
arm?
take it. Yeah, get get the vaccine so I don't die.
I was the one who said, anyone who would ask me if I'm going to get the vaccine. Look, of course I'm going to get the vaccine, but I wanted them to knock out all the kinks, right? Get the kinks
I
out
think there's
first.
enough people that got it by now that I'm like, okay, it's kind of safe now.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen, and I don't know, man, but I've been watching the news, and
Don't
and
watch the
maybe,
news.
huh? Well, yeah, I know, but
Anyways,
check
keep
this
going.
out. I'll say this, and I don't know those of you that are listening, but I'm going to say this. I think what I'm seeing, it could get to this point. Okay, I could be wrong, and I've been wrong before, but I think we may end up as a nation moving towards where if you want to go inside Walmart, for example, if you want to go inside Target, if you're trying to go to the grocery store, that you may have to start carrying your little vaccine card in order for you to get in. I think we may move as a country or maybe even as the world at some point because I've noticed that there are some that are already making that a requirement that if you come inside
Yeah.
our store, if you want to shop with us, you got to show us you've been vaccinated or you're going to have to wear your gloves, you're going to have to wear your mask, you're going to have to do X, A through Z if you want to get in here unless you've got your vaccine card and you show your vaccine card.
Well,
But at some point,
okay.
they're not going to even allow you to do the mask or the gloves. Listen, I'm not going to get into that because that's politics in certain ways,
Yeah,
but
no,
I have
but you know
already
what?
seen that in the news that's been going on.
What if you go into a store and they require the mask, or you wearing your little vaccination card on the chain or something? You just have it where you tuck it out and you go into the store and I have it there and I have no mask and I'm good to go. Hey, by all means, you do what you do. I don't know, but
I'm still
that's
going
a
to wear
different
my
topic.
mask if I have my vaccine, though.
No, no, no. I
You know
got
what
that.
happened in
I'm just
Alabama?
saying. No, but all I'm trying to say is eventually there's got to come a time where we don't have to wear a mask.
Oh man, I
You know what I'm
listen.
saying?
I don't even like to get out of the car anymore. I'm just gonna be honest
Yeah.
with you. Do you? Do you like going
No,
places?
I mean, I like to go eat
I like to
places.
go
You
eat.
just
That's it.
go.
That's the only time I get off, man. Just to go eat, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. If I
Or
don't
if you
like
gotta
going
go
to
to
the
the
store,
store, but you gotta wear your mask and everything. I
oh,
go to soccer, but you know, but
I
anyway,
hate it, bro.
different
I hate it.
story. I think everybody should get vaccinated so we can go
Was
back.
that your goal today? To tell everybody to get vaccinated?
No, I mean, just do your. I mean, if you feel like you have to, do it. If you feel like you don't have to, don't do it. I mean, we're all individuals. I don't think nobody should get pressure to do anything they don't want to do.
I
And
love how my
that's
social
my.
media is flooded with people showing their vaccine cards.
Yeah, I wouldn't show it, but that whatever. Anyways, let's go on touch on here on the seven rules of success. We
Oh
started
man, yeah, we did.
last episode with number one, and we're gonna go on to number two. Carlos, go ahead, line us up.
Yeah, the first one we talked about was collaborating with others and understanding the value of relationships, how to involve customers and colleagues in the creation and direction of any pursuit that you have, whether it's a business pursuit, whether it's a personal pursuit, that you involve others in the collaboration of you executing a specific goal, right? Well, in the seven rules of success, you've got the collaboration with others, but number two talks about never neglect. Never neglect is really breaking down the personal power and complacency that they cannot coexist in the pursuit of success, right? You cannot be at a place where you want this ability to really dedicate hardcore time and energy where you got to jump in and focus and really go at it, but and then not wanting to accept that there is, some form of power behind it. So what do I mean by all of that, right? Look, when you complete tasks and assignments that are, we all have obstacles. Let's be honest, Alex. We've got obstacles. We're trying to focus on what we're trying to do. We've got goals. We make lists. We make all of these things. But what the seven rules of success focuses on is that you cannot just simply be complacent, right? You cannot
Mm-hmm.
just say, hey, I'm okay where I'm at, right? If you have no goals, if you have nothing that you're running towards, if you have nothing that you're working towards, that is complacency. And when you begin to coexist and live in this realm of complacency, where are you going to get, Alex? Where are you going to go?
Yeah,
Where is it going to take you? Those of you that are listening, you may listen to this podcast for a variety of reasons. Some of you may listen to it just to carry on a conversation when it comes to finance. You want to learn about investing. Some of you may think that we're just entertaining. That's great. We appreciate that. But at the end of the day, what I want to encourage you is that in some form of your life, you're looking for success, and you can break it down in any kind of way, right? Whether it's in
mm-hmm.
relationships, whether it's in your family, whether it's at your job, whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, urgency. What I've read in this article is urgency creates an
Urgency
irrational
creates.
mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Urgency creates an irrational mind. Let those elements settle while you focus on what you can control, right? Don't be complacent, right? You got to
Yeah,
get
no,
out
and
there.
it
Go ahead, Alex.
no,
I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
no, 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 that's fine. It's just uh making a list also, right? Like, so there's different in this article talking about or neglecting here. So you can make a list of things that expectations, performances, dates of completion of that particular task you're trying to achieve, the goal, or whatever you lined up for yourself, and you got to focus on the bigger picture and knock out the important things, and that was urgent. Sometimes I think we all do it from our regular professional careers or just regular day-to-day life. But we got things that are important that we need to do, but we feel like this is more urgent, and then we take all the direction and we focus on what's urgent and not what's important, and knowing that if we focus on what's important,
What
the
matters?
urgencies would take care of themselves. So I think it's one of those things that this one's a tricky one, I think, a little bit, Carlos, because it goes against our nature, right? Of things that we tend to maybe we as a habit, I
Prioritize.
think we prioritize maybe what's more urgent when it we should be focusing on what's more important. And because, and obviously you just said it right now, is urgency creates irrational minds, right? So, or irrational thinking, and that's what you're trying to avoid. And I think that's the important thing about this rule number two.
Yeah, never neglect that. And that's, again, I go back to what Alex has just said and reiterated. That urgency piece. Look, you cannot neglect what's incredibly important, right? Make your priorities, set your priorities. I don't know about you, Alex, but I've got this planner, and I've never been a planner guy, but I found a planner on Amazon. And anybody who's a planner person, usually you tend to look at planners, and it's usually ladies that you see decorating their planners and
Mm-hmm.
doing that fun stuff, right? But for me, I found a high
But you do you,
performance
boo boo.
list. I knew you were about to make a comment. No, but listen, no. Check this out. There is something on Amazon called the high performance. It's called the high performance planner, and what it does is I lay out my schedule every day, and I do it first thing in the morning. Always, it's a big old thing. It's a big old. I don't color in it. I don't put stickers on it. I don't do any of that. But what it does, I've got my schedule that I have on my phone, right? I live off of my schedule on my phone. But what I do is I take that and I transpose it onto my planner, what I'm going to do during the day. But there's some questions on the left hand side of this specific high performance planner, and it's designed to be for the high performer, right? Who's always at it, who's always going, who's you're just on it. That's my human nature. And the left hand side will tell me things will ask me questions, I mean, as far as what my day needs to look like. Who do you need to encourage today? What do you need to focus on specifically today? What do you need to move off from the bottom of the list to the top of the list? And it will have me break those things down. And then you go to the middle, and the middle has the schedule of the day. But on the other side, it has some questions that basically get you to reflect at the end of the day. So once 5:30, 6, 7 o'clock, because anytime you're a CEO of multiple organizations, your day sometimes never ends, man, and you know this. So on at the other side of this planner, it's got some questions for you to think about. Did you how did you manage your day today when you removed that item that was at the bottom of your list and you brought it to the top? Who did you get a chance to encourage on your team today? What did you feel like you overcame the most? And it's got these great questions, man, and they're every day. And they're every day. And it's got some little tidbits here and there. But the reason I bring that up is because this planner has taught me through the questions, right? It's a routine that it has. And again, I hope you're Googling it now. It's on Amazon. It's called the High Performance Planner. It has taught me not to neglect what's important, what not to neglect that it takes priority. So, when we talk about success, it's not always the glitz, the glam, the money, the power, the title, right? Because that's
Yeah.
another big one that we tend to focus on. The title, no. It's not neglecting what matters. And you talk about personal power and complacency, right? They can't live together. There's no way those two are ever going to connect, because if you want to do something in life, you cannot sit still and wait on it, right? You can't sit outside and expect for it to
Yeah.
just fall from the sky. So what it's saying is, instead of focusing on those things and looking at success in that type of way, in that manner, why don't you focusing on success as it being something that takes priority, and that you make time for those things that are important.
No, I mean that's good. We all got our own different scenarios. I said it before. Mine's are sticky notes. Yours is that planner. Hey, whatever works for each individual, I say you go for it, right?
Yeah, no,
And
yeah, whatever floats your boat, as they say, right?
And
But you
then
got to
just
get
real quick,
something to float it, right? Don't you agree, Alex? You got to get
yeah,
something.
you got to get a something that'll kind of keep you organized, or give you what you need, right? Or encourage, like you said, one of your team members on your team. And then while we switching topics, just for the last thing before we close out the show, I don't want to focus on five ways to increase individuals' personal cash flow. I just want to just pick one out that kind of sticks to me, Carlos, and
Yeah,
I
man.
maybe you'll agree with this one
Yeah.
or not. But and we can touch on them a little bit later on a different episode. But I think people that are asking, like, how do I increase my cash flow, or how do I get more money so I don't feel like I'm, up to my throat with bills? And the easiest thing for me to say is you got to start. I would take a whole month and analyze it. Look at what are you spending, and this is how do you reduce your living expenses. And so I would take your whole month statement and see where do you spending your money. Are you spending a lot of things on all your wants? Are you going out to eat more than you should, and now you feel like you don't have enough money to cover your bills?
Mm.
And you gotta take care of your bills and take care of you first, and then do all your wants. So it's reducing it. Are you buying certain things that you shouldn't be buying? Are you spending more money on Amazon? So I think it's analyzing what you're spending each month, and cutting back a little bit. Cutting back, and that way you feel like you have more money, and that'll show you have more cash flow in. And we can talk about some other things, but I think this is step one on how to reduce your living expenses so you have more money to save and then later on invest.
Mm. Mm. So on your end, when you're talking about 5 ways that you increase your personal cash flow, is if you want to really take control, you want to focus on, hey, I need to control what I spend my money on.
Yeah.
See, I
Yep.
I agree. I do. I agree, Alex. But if I could add something to it, is and this is something that I've taken on, over the years, and I know you've done this, Alex, because you've told me you've had conversations with the current company that you're in, and certain things that you've done in the past as well. Listen, guys, sometimes you need to understand how valuable your time is and how valuable you are as an employee and what you bring to the table. Now, listen, if you're the kind of employee that just comes in, clocks in 9 to 5, right? You come,
Mm-hmm.
it's not that you're doing a bad job, okay? It's not that you're doing a bad job, but you come in, you clock in, you do your 9, your 10, 11, and so forth. You do your responsibilities, you handle the essentials, right? However, if you are the type of employee that comes in, clocks in, gets the job done, however, in the midst of you doing the job, you've created a process, you've created some efficiencies for the company, you have kind of created profitability, you've brought in a new way of doing business. Anytime that you go out of your four corners in the box, right? Anytime you
Mm-hmm.
jump out of that box and it benefits the company, whether it's a small way or a large way, the way I see it is I want to encourage you. Hey, man, I've been here for 5 years, Carlos. I've been at my job for 5 years, and I do my 9 to 5. But I recently created a process at the office where you do this, blah 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 blah, right? Or I recently showed my manager how we could do this specific item on the schedule that it helps everybody with blah, 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 blah. Look, in those situations, you bring value to a company. And if the company that you're in, that you have increased its value, increased its efficiency, and somehow along the way, when efficiency is increased, there is going to be profitability. In those scenarios, I would encourage you, and this is one of my 5 ways to increase your personal cash flow, is you go back in there and you negotiate your salary.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You need to be ready, and this is one of those tips, guys. I don't want you to get fired. I'm not saying go tomorrow, walk into your boss's office, hey, I deserve a raise. just
No,
cuz.
no.
Like that's
So
that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you need to educate yourself as to, wait, let me write. I've always said this to people. Hey, if you're doing something at work, you need to write this stuff down. Right? If you're doing something at work that's creating change, you need to write this down, because at some point you've got to use this as leverage. You've got to have these bullets in the chamber, so when you fire, right? When you fire, you know exactly what you're firing, and people know exactly what target you're hitting. You want to say something else? I could tell it's on the tip of
yeah,
your tongue, man.
no, I just want to add because that you basically are getting some good points out there. Is just like you said, you come up to your manager, be like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" Like just like you were mentioning, this is what I've done. This is a process that I've done. I feel like I got more value. I don't feel, and then you can say it's like, I think that my compensation could be a little bit better. And this is here's all you lay down the plan, like you everything you wrote down, and then if they're still not convinced, then and they'll be like, well, let me see. Or if you don't feel like you left in a good spot, then you could be like, well, tell me what more I need to do, or what more I need to be able to, what skills I
That's
need to
right.
go achieve in order for me to get that compensation if this is not enough.
That's right.
Right?
That's
So
right.
it's leaving, if you don't get what you want, then it's leaving with a plan to get you what you want. He may say like, "Oh, I need you to go back and do this and this." Well, go and go get that, and then you go back and be like, "Okay, I got it done. Where's my raise?" Right? So
Well.
it's
Not exactly in that way,
no. You
but
get
you
what I'm
get it.
saying.
But you
Obviously,
get it.
you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's being more respectful, of course, and be like, okay,
Strategic.
you told me that you basically told me that I needed to be able to get, say it's a certification. You told me that I needed to go get the certification in order to get compensated appropriately. I went ahead and on my own time, and I got my certification. Here's my certification. When can we sit down and talk about my compensation of how do I, and moving forward? And that's how you
How
do
do
it,
I
right? I'm not.
monetize this certification? Absolutely. No, absolutely.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
obviously I said go was like, where's my race? But I was just
Yeah.
doing it in layman's terms.
Have
But
you seen my raise? Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 no.
yeah,
Listen,
but
listen. I think that's exactly that's it, guys. Look, sometimes we get so caught up, man, I don't want to ask for a raise, because if I ask for a raise, I may not get it. And if I don't get it, I'm gonna look like a fool, or this is gonna cause them to look at my job performance, and I'm gonna, if they really zoned in on it, they're gonna see that I'm not as good as an employee. But that's the thing, right? When you validate it, when you know you've been hustling, when you know you've been making it happen, and you've got facts to back it up. Again, walk in with a plan, walk in with a sticky note if that's the case, right? What have you done that you have seen these items, right, create change in this circle of influence that you've got? And once that happens, you have every right to ask for a raise, right? Today I heard a story of a lady who, now check this out. Check this out. I heard a story of a lady today. This was, yeah, where
story time.
6 years ago, story time. 6 years ago, she started at this specific company, right? 6 years ago, started at this specific company making this amount of money, right? This was her hourly pay.
Hmm.
Today, you fast forward 6 years later, they're hiring, right? They're hiring at a specific rate. However, at the rate that they're hiring, she's not even making it. Tell me where that flows. If anything, if anything, that's where she needs to go straight. Listen, I've been here for 6 years. I have invested my time and energy into this company for the past 6 years, and I'm still not making with the person who walks in through the door, that you still have to train, that you still have to show them how things work, how you still have to create this company culture around them so they get it, that you don't have to do that with me. And I've been here 6 years, and I've been faithful, and I've been making you money. Look, that
Now, is
scenario
this a
is a
good
different
employee?
scenario, right? Yeah.
No,
Oh,
but
apparently.
is it a,
I
but if
listen.
she's
I
a
don't know
good
the details.
employee, no, you know what I'm saying though. If
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
she's a good employee, then yeah, absolutely, don't hesitate any longer. I mean, if or resign and they get rehired. Nah, just kidding. But
I mean, that's
you know,
yeah.
You
It's
know what I'm saying though?
exactly.
Is like either one, you're a very good employee and they're not valuing you, and then maybe you should question the company at that point, because if I'm not getting value, that's a different story. But yeah, dude.
But in a way, it's kind of
100%.
the same. It's in a way, it's kind of is the same story, right? Because
Yeah.
what you've done is you've created an investment into this company that's really not yours. And because of your investment, because of your time, because of your creative thinking, because of your skill, because of what you have done to create this, you fill in the blank, you've got to go back in there and renegotiate, right?
Mm,
Again, you
yep.
cannot be we go back to complacency, right? If there is a goal specifically where you're wanting to increase your cash flow, listen, I'll go back into this. Look, in business, there's two types of individuals. I'm going to go ahead and put this, I'm going to put this out there. In business, when it comes to being a businessman, a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, and looking at your profit and loss statements, and then at the end of the day, breaking it down to your balance sheet. I'm going to give you two specific businessmen, businesswomen that exist in the world. One, the first one likes to cut, right? Whether it's force reduction, and what that means is whether you cut employees, fire them, release them, lay them off, whatever, or you scale back on indirect expenses, meaning you just cut things, right? Whether you cut pencils, whether you cut pens, whether you cut waters in the office, sodas, snacks, whatever the case may be, there are two individuals, those that cut things and those that generate greater revenue. Instead of cutting, we are going to increase sales by 30% by doing A, B, C, and D, right? So at least there is a projection, there is an effort. So now those two individuals, one sees it as let me cut things to get to a profit, right? Because that's really
Mhm.
the perception. Or you make more money to create profitability, right? So you increase sales, you increase donations, whatever scope or landscape you're in, you either increase or you decrease. You either cut or you bring it in, right? So those are the two types of business people that you meet out there. No matter how you want to dress it up, no matter what fancy word you want to use, at the end of the day, those are the two types of individuals that are out there when it comes to profitability. And in this situation, the way I want to encourage you, and this is just strictly my opinion, Alex is seeing this as, look, you might have hit your level of revenue, you might have hit your income lid that you can't grow anymore because of where you're at, right? Whether it's at a job that you
Well, I
know
didn't mean
you're
it
not
that
going to get.
way.
Yeah. But that's really where, if you look at it that way, if you're
I was
stuck
just
in a
saying, was
specific
is she?
number.
Yeah, no, I was just meaning like, is she a bad employee? Right. That's really what I was trying to get at. Um, but no, no, absolutely, dude. And we can touch on this. Let's just leave it for another show where we can expand a little bit more because I got way more to talk about. Once you start making more money in the job and what other responsibilities and all that stuff, and so we can really expand. Another 15 minutes if we had to, right? But
Oh man,
I
we're
think
really
I
running,
think
aren't we? We're really running it
yeah,
today.
no, I think we're running on time here. So, yeah, I would just say
It's
let's
that Khloe
pause.
Kardashian's fault, man.
Yeah, let's pause that conversation, and I think we need to expand on negotiating your current job site. I mean your current job site, your current employment, and then go from there. But Pardos, why don't you go ahead and close the show for us?
Yeah, man. Uh, we like to always bring these quotes. If you're a first time listener, welcome. If this is your second time, thank you for coming back. If this is your 13th time, dang, you made it this far. At the end
No,
of
we
every
appreciate it.
at the end of our shows, we always like to leave you with a positive nugget, right? Whether it's a spiritual vitamin, but whatever, or some kind of wisdom, we just want to leave you with more than what we've got. But today's comes from Ella Fitzgerald, who is a fantastic author. I love Ella. She writes some great stuff. But she writes today, and maybe not necessarily today, but today's quote comes from Ella, and it says, "It isn't where you come from; it's where you're going that counts." Right? It isn't where you came from; it's where you're going that counts. So whether we're talking about your
That's deep.
salary
That's deep.
negotiation, yeah, man, whether you're going towards salary negotiation, whether we're talking about investing, whether you're talking about opportunity, no matter what culture that you're in, no matter what race you are,
Doesn't
because again,
matter. Doesn't matter,
It
right?
doesn't matter. And
Doesn't
today
matter where
we're
you come from, it's where
no,
you're
no.
going.
That's
I
right.
love
That's
it.
right. That's right, man. And and we're living in a society right now in a time where it is about race in so many ways, and certain races are getting. And we've got a whole nother show on that we'll talk about later. But listen, at the end of the day, it isn't where you came from; it's where you're going that counts, and what really matters. So, my name is Carlos.
This is Alex. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace. Here comes that
Peace.
song.